I wonder if it even really matters, because sometimes the core and the mid laners swap positions when it's on certain heroes. Clavis Aurea. Same deal here, and both of these teams are very well suited for the late game. This game can just go indefinitely without really any team gaining a magnificent advantage. So with that, we're gonna play one quick ad for our sponsor Expert.co here, and then we're gonna see how this goes.
Prepare for battle.
Thanks. Okay, so I got the odds working. We are in. It looks like a slight majority here does seem to be favoring Clavis. Then again, that slight majority might just be a bunch of fanboys. Clavis, I know they aren't exactly a very big team or whatever, but especially Ascendancy, as far as I know, he always draws a lot of attention during the German lands, so a lot of the people who care for the German Dota scene know him very well and kind of see him as more important than he actually is, just because he, you know, is a decent human being, is a nice guy to talk to, and is always up to have a great time at the LAN. So I'm not really sure if this is skill based or not. Helsinki Reds, they do have a ton of fans, but in Finland you're not allowed to bet except for government sites, so you know that might tip the scale a little bit here. Might not be the case. Not saying it is like that. Just my hypothesis. One thing I'm definitely more qualified to talk about is the way the lanes are going, though. And Sayu seems to be having himself a pretty easy lane. I mean, it's gonna be slightly annoying, yes, to be up against this, but as an anti-mage, against two heroes who rely on magical damage mostly to bully their lane and get stuff done, it does seem like he's up for a good game here. On the top lane, meanwhile, Vipyu getting ran at. There we go. The last hit stats. And he's still alive, he's still good. It's fine. Hidaro. Would have loved to get that kill. Would have loved to try and get that kill, I think. But under a tower, especially in that spot where you can't really make an easy escape path. See, now he goes in because he has TP ready. And just going to buy a little bit of space. If he had TP ready there a bit earlier and Batrider was still within potential kill range, I should say, things could have been interesting. And as for the mid lane, that one, I'm not really sure who it favors. I mean, this should ever so slightly favor Tinky because of the mischance. But the thing is, Aucon, the Gyrocopter, got the option of suddenly dealing a ton of magical nuke damage where Tinker least expects it. Tinker doesn't have anything against magical nuke damage, so despite Gyrocopter being your typical average hard carry, he doesn't get shut down as hard as other hard carries by the Tinker. Helsinki Reds to set up here, it seems. But Sand King turning back around. Okay, Womber makes up his mind and goes back to the bottom lane now. He pinged, he turned around, wanted to go back in there, but realized that there's probably vision. This time around is going to die, and that's going to be a first blood in favor of Team Clavis Aurea. A very good opening, but that shouldn't lull them in the sense of false security. Helsinki Reds are winning their lanes. Helsinki Reds are having an anti-mage who is essentially getting the lane you'd pretty much want every single anti-mage game. Although it's not complete free farm, the enemy has to commit way more effort onto you than it is worth it. They don't really have a choice either. They can't just say, okay, let's leave the anti-mage alone, like they could do with Juggernaut, an example.
Such sorcery shall
Donnie
not
going to get
remain.
killed off now. With a Juggernaut, you might be able to say, okay, I'm going to leave this guy to farm. I'm going to get myself some items to counter him, and then I'm going to be good. So this anti-mage is dangerous. Suddenly Helsinki Red's taking 2 kills as well.
Afterburners.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Rip blue. Yep. As a Witch Doctor, not really a ton of tools at his disposal, not really any defensive moves or whatever. So, needless to say, he is just going to go down. And those small kills, although they don't really matter, since they're not on either one of the important cores yet. Helsinki Reds, they are getting more and more dominant, and they are starting to actively look for those important cores. SRBB, going on now. Clavis, got a defense rotation, and now instead turning it around into an aggressive rotation. Auker going to get caught, taking a lot of damage, going to get nuked down. Dota. Okay, he's going to be fine. That is one of the 2 important heroes to shut down. Now the last issue is Sayu, and in this case, although I keep saying Anti-Mage can't carry games alone, which he can't, Anti-Mage can still be the main carry if you have 2 cores. If you have 2 sources of reliable damage in team fights, Anti-Mage can still be the bigger one of the 2, and the farm on Anti-Mage will definitely pay off. The whole thing about Anti-Mage just not being as strong as he used to be. Okay, wait, we actually got 50 kills here, and I'm pretty sure he's dead. Yep. Not much of a choice there. So the kills are equaled out again. The one issue still remaining is Anti-Mage though. Once again, this guy, I can't emphasize it enough because of how hard the hero is going to hit. And the Anti-Mage being weaker, which a lot of people agree on, it's mostly just because it takes him too long to burst people down in order to completely wipe a team single-handedly like he used to be able to in the previous meta. But that doesn't mean that he isn't still a very dangerous, very late game scaling core.
Top tower is under attack.
Just one who takes a while longer to go for the same amount of kills.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Smoke gank. Coming in. Apparently they want to go for Auker. Oh, and Auker, he does not suspect anything. It's going to deliver a lot of damage to Donnie. It's going to get a kill on Donnie there. But that is going to be... Okay, never mind that actually. Now, with blue going down, that is no longer a good trade to take. And Auker, still alive, getting saved by the Nightmare there. An amazing play coming in from Noda. Helsinki Reds are 2k ahead, and Clavis, I mean, not in a bad spot, but definitely need to stay focused here. Can't afford any more of those mistakes.
The coin of the realm.
One or two faulty plays of the nature we just saw. Oh boy. Habibi going to get caught. Helsinki Red suddenly decided to push the aggression here against Team Clavis Aurea. And now it's all up to Ascendancy. I mean, dying once isn't completely going to throw you out of the game, but there is going to be that inevitable stage where everybody's fighting and you simply need one carry to be ahead, and never mind that whole everything being up to Ascendancy part. Now Clavis Aurea need a proper plan to come back here. I like how this game is super fast paced. And how these guys actually are focused on how important the hero is to a very large extent, while still playing that hyper-aggressive playstyle. Also, as to what I think about Medusa, I think Medusa is a pretty dope hero, but the thing with Medusa is, unlike Luna, she is slightly more dependent on the Divine Rapier. And I think that is one of her two biggest weaknesses, which people can exploit. Don't get me wrong, she is one of my favorite cores, but she isn't quite as reliable as people give credit for. Just because of the fact that on Medusa at some point you have to pick up a Divine Rapier, or you are going to get out-carried by heroes with mana burn, or by heroes who can just stun lock you up, because you're an agility hero, not a strength hero. So, that is something people need to not forget about, but don't get me wrong, she is very damn powerful. And one of the strongest heroes in the current pack. Which is nice, since Medusa has not been seen for nearly 2 years in the pro scene. It's just, you know, she isn't completely immortal or whatever. As is Donnie. He just gets blown up by Sayo there. Sayo going to get himself insanely good Battle Fury timing too, and the problem is just stacking up for Clavis. Clavis, they got two good things going on for them here. First, Lone Druid generally, once he does come online, once he does get Radiance and some basic stuff, he is super versatile, he is super good at going for a highly specialized build to shut down and deal with one particular hero. Lone Druid super versatile in terms of you can go for a Skull Basher build on the bear to just go full disabler. Really is going to be fine. Nota isn't though. Womber now coming out of there for a double stun with the Nightmare, however, and now Helsinki as they decide to fight this. That was a really good decision from them here, as they will get one return kill. Pretty equal trade so far, but the fact that Gyrocopter is picking up the kill makes it so much better. I'm going to switch over to Net Worth, which I should have done a minute ago or so. These teams, they're extremely busy duking it out here.
Tis mine.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Very nice stun to initiate yet another fight. This time around in favor of Clavis. They're going to get one kill, but not the one they need. On the mid lane, meanwhile, Ascendancy in a lot of trouble. Lara is going to be the first target though. Now Ascendancy goes down and Habibi getting ran at by Sayu, who suddenly decides he only needs a Battle Fury to fight. Not going to push the aggression. He knows he's an anti-mage, he knows he needs to farm, but still very nice to use that gold advantage in your favor. And now suddenly Helsinki Red's in a very sturdy spot.
Attack.
The saddest part for Clavis Aurea is this is a best of one, and that's a big issue for them because they tend to play way better in the second game of a series compared to their average. Auger take a lot of damage, but before he's going to go down, he is putting out a ton of damage from Donnie there. Not enough to go for any kind of follow-up initiation though, so that is a very good kill for Clavis. And although the Gyrocopter died once before, if you can make the difference between the anti-mage and the Gyrocopter large enough, this game is going to become very doable again. Just because you have a very obvious initiation target, you have a very obvious hero you need to shut down. And that's not going to be all that hard with the anti-mage. Okay, we're going to see yet another skirmish. This team not giving it a rest. Donnie going to go down to Vipuk. Load up will be the next kill. Getting taken off by Blue, but Witch Doctor not a good hero to be behind enemy lines or generally anywhere where the enemy can go at him. You want to sit behind your team. There isn't really anyone to sit behind us because Lone Druid still needs some time to farm.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Clavis, I don't know. I mean, Clavis are so good at actually getting good reads during their first game and then turning that into a very different second game. However, this is the best of one, so they can't do that. They can't just take the time to look at how is their opponent playing, what are the strengths and weaknesses, how can they exploit them. So Helsinki Reds, they do seem heavily favored, although that's just a 3k gold lead very early in the game. And another thing is, Clavis Aurea, although they do have a late game advantage here technically, that late game advantage isn't going to kick until very, very late. And at this rate, unless Sai gets killed off twice in a row, there is not going to be a very, very late. Dota, he seems to just be sacrificing himself willingly. Yep. Or, actually never mind, that was just a bait. And what a bait it was. Blue goes down, Sayu able to come back in there, able to continue the aggression. This anti-mage is getting really damn huge. I mean, this could be a pre-20 minutes Battle Fury plus Manta, plus of course power threats. I mean, some people build Aquilius, some people don't, so I'm not sure if it's the, well, as I like to call it, Magnus Opum, or Slardar about to go down. The hookshot being tanked by the Slardar there is kind of awkward for the Clockwork though, but that doesn't mean he can't kill Nota. There's some help from the Tinker there especially. Sen is going to be the one securing the kill, and he is going to benefit a lot from it, but if we look at the total gold, it doesn't really matter who gets the kills. All that matters is who they kill, and that's Sayu. Auker, I like him going for the Aghanim Scepter as well. I feel like it's one of the best items on the Gyrocopter. Not if he's the main primary core who needs to do all the work himself, but that's not where Gyrocopter excels. Gyrocopter excels at... Okay, first we're going to see Donnie die here. There we go. So Gyrocopter excels at two things. The first is pushing the pressure with his magical nuke damage while still giving additional late game. So he can be picked to balance out any power curve if you realize you're lacking early game damage. Sayu going to get himself another kill.
Monster kill.
Tinker going to go down as well. People asking me if Lone Druid has Midas yet. He's been having a Midas for a long time. You can see the core items being picked up here on the side if I'm not mistaken. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can ask whenever you miss something. Most casts just announce every single item, and I guess I should too. I'm just kind of used to keeping track using that little window there on the side.
Coming. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Esso up, and Blue is going to go down. Donnie is going to go down. My Dota is going to at 1 FPS here because so many things are happening at the same time, but players are unaffected, and that means they're going to be able to put a lot of pressure here. They're going to be able to really assert themselves as dominant force in this game.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Dota team getting really dramatic too.
Where's my pension?
Haste.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
If we look at the gold net worth here, Helsinki Reds, they're going to pull ahead pretty far. Team Clavis, I know this sounds dumb, and I know I get a lot of hate every single time I mention this at all, but this seems like a double Midas Lone Druid game. Wait, it still works, right? Last time I checked it used to work, but that was a few months ago. And we're gonna see another big teamfight break loose. If you go to be the first target. However, Tinker died, and oh my goodness, that damage though. That insane damage coming out from the Sand King. And the Burrow Strike as well. Womber getting a moment to shine, and shining he does. Setting up all of those delicious kills. Anti-Mage now beyond godlike. This guy, he is insanely fat. I mean, look at this. This is... No. Just no, this is even for the standards of a well-farmed anti-mage, this is too much. And now Team Clavis, they're going to lose all of their hold fast in this game. I mean, they should be able with the Tinker to defend for a long while, but that's why I said this might be a good game for the double Midas on the Lone Druid. Please do correct me if I'm just being dumb and double Midas is no longer possible. But in a game like this, your only chance, once you start falling behind against an anti-mage to the point where you cannot kill him, unless you get lucky, you do not want to gamble. You cannot afford to gamble, since killing him once might be a, let's say, 20% chance. 5 fights, you can survive 5 fights, seems doable. But killing him once isn't going to end your struggle, it's just going to lighten the load a little bit. Donnie going to get killed again.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Clavis, they're ballsy enough to assert a little bit of aggression, but here I really think their only way of winning this at this point is to get better late game, which I know sounds nearly impossible, but Lone Druid, he can play 2 cores at the same time. He is good at doing that.
Radiant structures are
and Ascendancy is definitely the guy to pull it off.
Dire's top tower is under
Getting the bear as a big bad liner, and then using the main druid either as a backline glass cannon like he was used during the time where his stands were completely broken, or using the bear as another. Oh, at this point the bear is not going to be used as anything and just going to get killed off instead. The helicopter going down in exchange. Here. Make sure Nota goes down, but while that is happening, look at where Sayu is at.
I deliver these.
Sayu's sitting at the Dire base, casually with an Aegis, with a butterfly, being way too fat for this stage of the game. Just delivering a bit of tier 3 damage, getting his gold net worth even further ahead of everyone else.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I'll take that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
The only one win condition. I mean, they still have a win condition. I guess that alone is not... Okay, not necessarily a miracle, but something really, really rare in this scenario, I guess I could say. But Lone Druid, he can become 2 cores, and that is the win scenario combined with the Tinker. To buy first of all, to buy a lot of space. Second of all, to permanent disable one of the 2 really scary cores from Helsinki Reds. Even if you permanent disable one of the 2 with a Sheepstick though, Tinker is going to get prevented from continuing the Sheepstick spam by the other core. Both of these guys are really good at that. Gyrocopter can just, with the multiple missiles, make sure that at least one missile is going to connect. And Anti-Mage, well, Anti-Mage. He's got one of the best gap closes for any core in the game. It's one of the reasons why he's such a good hard carry. And that's
Dire's middle tower
that's
is under
probably
attack.
what he's going to go ahead and do against the Tinker here. So that's why the Lone Druid actually becoming that double core is really essential. Of course that takes a lot of time. That takes like 30 minutes from now. But if you do get 2 kills on Sayu, it's suddenly going to shave off 5 to 10 minutes just based on how valuable he is.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Third, we're doing some creep interception.
Dire's structures are fortified.
With fortification they might just be able to get their base defenses up. And this is Sensi's strong suit. Sensi has one of the best map awarenesses in the tier 2 scene. And one of the best micros too. But the micro doesn't really matter. I mean... Of course, if he plays a Meepo it does, if he plays a Visage it does, and both of those heroes are pretty much standard bans against Sensi. Anti-Mage getting a bit of insta-karma as the big juicy bear blinks away in front of his nose.
Boom! There it goes.
Still a tier 3 tower down, and Helsinki Reds is going to establish absolute map control here. Roshan is about to respawn and, oh well, about to respawn 3 minutes and he can respawn. That is very doable. It's not like you lost your Aegis early. It's not like you're only having control of the map for a brief moment and suddenly your opponent gets a big ability again, allowing them to go out of the base or something similar. Bird Bear getting killed off. Auger going for the Aghanims build here. And although it does seem kinda inefficient, it doesn't seem like a big and scary Gyrocopter. He doesn't have to be, and that's the beauty of Gyrocopter. You can make way for the other carry you're working with, and then suddenly change your mind to go back to being a main carry, being equally powerful to, in this case, the Anti-Mage. That's why I like the hero so much. That's why a lot of teams tend to like the hero so much. It's either that or the absolute lane dominance, the very powerful spells that gives you.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
Okay, and we got initiation from Clavis. They're going to try all or nothing now. Donnie definitely setting it up well. Blue trying to get a good ultimate up. However, although the ultimate was well positioned, Mage's positioning was simply better. The lane of Rex. He's gotta be careful. Anti-Mage not so much. I like the tanky Anti-Mage. I mean, in games like this it can kinda ruin the fun. Can kinda turn the game even more one-sided than it already is, because the return kills are harder to make than ever. But it's nice to actually see Anti-Mage do stuff instead of seeing Blink in, deal 3 hits, and the team fight is over.
Gods off guard. Get thee to the underscape.
This is freaking... I don't know. I mean, it's a very typical game of Dota. It's not that special. It just really feels kinda nasty once again. Bit like the first game of the previous series in China, where it was just okay, so everything's looking good, and they get stumped, and they get stumped again, and they get stumped again. At this point they've probably lost hope, but they're still win condition, and that win condition is over. And same thing is about to happen here. The second Anti-Mage gets a good thing in once again. So Team Clavis, they're just being really careful to prevent that from happening. But while they are effective at preventing Anti-Mage from finding the win condition, Megas are just going to be nearly as powerful as just wipe this team. Simply because it's still kinda early in the game, and Clavis Aurea, they aren't the best team set up for Mega Creep. Witch Doctor gets blown up with the Mana Void.
Dire's bottom barracks have fallen.
And there are still range tracks, so no Megas, but do range tracks even count at this point with this kind of lineup against you, which is really good at ratting, and the 6-slot Anti-Mage. Auker too, getting himself fat. I'm kinda curious if Maelstrom here is still the best item. I mean, for AoE it definitely is. It works well with your magical damage. He also took the Rocket Barrage, so I might just be wrong. Since what I was thinking is that MKB was the go-to item nowadays with the new MKB rework. And that is just sad. Rip Tennessee. I mean, there's nothing really that Clavis could have done here, I guess. It's more about decision making than really being outplayed, and I'm not sure if that makes it any more or any less painful. I guess it depends on who you ask. What? What was that?
Dire's bottom barracks.
How did he... Did I miss something? How did Anti-Mage not deal damage there?
Dire's middle barracks have fallen. The Radiant now have
Either way, it's going to be GG now. Wasn't the fortification either. Oh wait, Tinker Laser. I think it was just Tinker Laser that bounced through the building. Either way, one final team fight. I'm not even gonna bother making hype here because no matter what, this is an 18-0 Anti-Mage.
Dire's middle tower is under
And
attack.
Ascendancy.Bitcoin, best sponsor ever, going to call it. Good game, well played, at that GG. It's been a good game indeed, at least from Helsinki Reds. As for Clavis, I kind of feel bad for them, but both of these teams